All right, so are you ready to dive into November 9 with me?
Absolutely. I'm fascinated by this one.
Yeah, it's Colleen Hoover and, second chances,
That's
right?
right.
Enduring love and all that.
Definitely themes that resonate with so many readers.
Exactly. And this story, it follows Fallon, who is an aspiring actress, and her life is kind of turned upside down by this fire. And then you have Ben, he's an aspiring writer, and he's drawn to her strength, you know?
It's such a compelling premise.
It is, and the way it's structured is really interesting.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, the story unfolds over 5 consecutive November 9ths.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's like each year
I see.
they get this, chance to reconnect, and it really makes you think,
Yeah.
can a chance encounter really change the course of someone's life?
Right? Or is that just, the romantic ideal?
Exactly, just a fantasy.
Well, I think Hoover uses that recurring date, that November 9th date, really cleverly. It's almost like a symbol,
Oh, yeah,
yeah, for the cyclical nature of time and that possibility of renewal.
that makes sense.
Each year they get a fresh start,
Mm.
you know? But then it also makes you wonder, does limiting their interaction to just one day a year
Right.
actually intensify their bond? Does
Yeah.
that anticipation,
Yeah.
the knowledge that their time is so finite, does that just make everything more potent?
I love that point. It's like this,
Yeah.
like they're creating this pressure cooker of emotion almost.
Exactly.
So let's go back to that very first meeting.
Okay.
Fallon is having this super tense lunch with her dad,
Oh.
who, by the way, is not supportive of her acting ambitions at all.
Hmm.
And then Ben walks in, he overhears this conversation, and he just jumps in,
Wow.
decides to play the role of her boyfriend.
That's bold.
Oh, it's a bold move for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, what does that tell us about Ben right away?
Well, he's definitely someone who's willing to kind of disrupt things,
Yeah,
challenge those expectations.
it's impulsive.
Impulsive, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it also speaks to how vulnerable Fallon is in that moment,
Mhm.
dealing with the scars from the fire, needing that escape.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ben just provides that, even though he's a complete stranger.
It's interesting how their connection, it deepens, but not in a superficial way.
Right.
It's like they're drawn to that vulnerability in each other.
Yeah,
They both want to escape.
absolutely. And I think that rawness, that honesty, it kind of lays the groundwork for their pact
Yeah,
to only meet once a year
on November 9th.
on November 9th for the next 5 years.
Which is wild, right? Like on the surface, that seems like the opposite of how you build a connection.
Right, right.
Right.
But it's fascinating how that limitation actually becomes a strength.
Okay.
They don't have that pressure of a traditional relationship.
Right.
They have this dedicated time, a ritual to just reconnect.
And as we see their journeys unfold over those 5 years, those November 9th meetings, they really shape them.
Video?
They shape their choices, their perspectives.
Absolutely.
Like Fallon, she moves to New York. She pursues acting.
Right, her career takes off.
Yeah, we see her confidence grow, but there's always this,
Yeah.
like this underlying
Longing.
longing. Yeah. Like part of her is tethered to Ben.
It makes you wonder if she may be held back in some ways, knowing a traditional relationship might jeopardize that bond they had.
And then there's Ben. He's developing as a writer, figuring out his own life.
Right.
And his feelings for Fallon, they keep growing.
Oh, they definitely do.
And at first, he sees their arrangement as like inspiration for his writing,
Oh, that's interesting.
a story to tell.
But is that ethical, though?
Yeah,
To use someone's life, their vulnerability, for your art?
that's such a good question.
It's that line between inspiration and exploitation, isn't it?
It is. And that's something that Ben, he really struggles with.
Oh, I bet.
He wants to capture their connection, but he also doesn't want to hurt Fallon.
Right.
It's like that moral ambiguity that's always there.
Underneath it all.
Yeah, they're drawn to each other, but there's always this tension.
Always that tension.
Because their arrangement, it's built on secrecy.
Yeah.
And it's not conventional at all.
Not at all. And that tension, it just grows as their lives get more complicated.
Oh, yeah.
Like when Ben gets involved with Jordan.
And they have a son, Oliver.
Right. That throws a whole new wrench into things.
It does. It brings in this whole other level of complexity.
Yeah.
And Ben, he has to face the consequences of his feelings for Fallon.
It's true. Can he really compartmentalize like that?
Right. Can he be with Jordan and be a father to Oliver
Yeah.
and still hold on to this connection with Fallon?
It's tough.
It's like classic love life, responsibility, all colliding.
It's messy, but it's real life.
It is. And in those moments of conflict, that's when you really see how strong their connection is.
It's tested for sure.
Do you think Maybe because their meetings have that built-in time limit.
Yeah.
It creates a safe space for them
Yeah.
to explore those feelings,
That's an interesting thought.
like without the pressure of immediate consequences.
Maybe they can be more honest with each other because of that.
Right. They have a whole year to process everything before they see each other again.
It's like an emotional pressure valve, almost,
Yeah.
releasing that intensity.
But even the most well-designed systems, they can break down, right?
Especially when secrets start to surface.
And in November 9, the secrets, they really come to light
Oh, yeah.
in a way that just shatters everything.
Uh-oh.
It all starts with Fallon discovering Ben's book,
Oh, no.
his published novel.
Wow. Imagine, finding a book and it has all your deepest secrets in it.
Oh, gosh.
All those private moments, the joy, the heartbreak.
Yeah.
And that's what Fallon goes through. She finds out Ben's book. It's about their relationship.
It's like this ultimate betrayal of trust, right?
Elise.
All those years, all those conversations,
Yeah.
suddenly it feels so, I don't know, calculated.
Right. Was he genuine?
Yeah, was he really drawn to Fallon, or was she just like a muse for his book?
That's the thing with Hoover's writing. It's so layered, she makes you question everything.
Yeah.
Like, where's the line between what's okay and what's not?
Right. Is it okay to use someone's life like that?
Even if it's for art, even if it's disguised.
Exactly. And for Fallon, I mean, how does she even process that?
It's got to make her look back on all their meetings, right?
Yeah.
Did she ever suspect, even for a second, that he was taking notes,
Oh, wow.
analyzing their every interaction?
To put it in his book.
And that trust, it's just shattered.
And if you thought it couldn't get more complicated,
Yeah.
Hoover, she throws in this massive twist.
What's that?
Fallon finds out that Ben was actually unintentionally responsible for the fire.
Whoa, hold on.
The fire that scarred her.
Talk about a bombshell.
It is. It changes everything.
It really does. It's not just about the book anymore.
It's about this deep, lasting consequence of something from Ben's past.
It makes you wonder, did their connection start because of the fire?
Yeah, was Ben drawn to her out of some kind of guilt?
Maybe subconscious. He didn't even realize it.
And Fallon, maybe she felt a connection she couldn't explain.
It's like fate, but a tragic kind of fate.
It is, and those November 9th meetings, they were this joyful ritual. Now they're overshadowed by this huge secret.
All that easy intimacy, it's gone.
Replaced by this tension, this knowledge.
And it makes you think, can you really forgive someone if they don't tell you the whole truth?
Ben, he kept that secret for years.
Right. Out of fear, shame.
Protecting himself, but also maybe protecting Fallon.
But true intimacy, you got to be vulnerable.
You got to share everything, even the dark parts.
And in the last part of the book, Fallon confronts Ben.
She has all the information.
His secret, the unpublished manuscript, everything.
And that's where the idea of forgiveness, it really takes center stage.
That's where they have to decide, can they move forward?
This is where November 9 gets really intense. Fallon knows everything Ben's past, the fire, the manuscript with all his feelings. It's like a crossroads, you know.
Yeah, it really is.
Anger, resentment, or is there space for forgiveness?
And what's interesting is, it's not just this explosion of accusations.
Right.
Fallon, she's hurt, of course, but there's also this empathy.
I noticed that too.
Like she sees the whole picture. Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't just write him off.
She could so easily walk away, but instead she wants to understand
She wants to understand
why he did what he did about the fire, about everything.
It shows how strong she is, you know?
It really does. She's not letting the bitterness consume her.
And Ben, now that his secret's out, he's finally honest.
Yeah, he's not hiding anymore.
He's totally vulnerable, letting her judge him.
And I think that honesty, that's what makes forgiveness possible.
Makes sense. It's not about saying what he did was okay.
No, it's about seeing his regret, his love for Fallon.
And they've both come so far, right?
They have, both individually and together.
Fallon, with her acting, she's learned to be vulnerable, to face those tough emotions.
And Ben, through his writing, he's confronted his past, he's dealt with his guilt.
And in that final scene, Fallon makes a choice.
A big one.
It's like the whole theme of the book comes down to this.
What'd she do?
She forgives him.
Wow.
Not because it's easy, but because she sees that potential.
The potential for them to heal, to have a real future.
It's powerful, the idea that love can be that strong.
It can overcome so much.
November 9. It doesn't give us easy answers, does it?
No, not at all.
It's messy, it's real, it makes us question things.
Let's just look at ourselves, too.
But it does give us hope.
Definitely hope. Hope that even broken relationships can be fixed.
That second chances are possible.
That love can win, even when it seems impossible.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I keep thinking, does forgiving someone mean forgetting what they did?
Hmm, good question.
Can you truly love someone and still carry that pain?
It's something we all have to figure out, I guess.
It's definitely a book that stays with you.
It makes you think about your own experiences, your own relationship.
It makes you think about love, loss, and what it means to really connect with another person